I wish somebody. Okay.
Okay, another one coming in.
So let's have a word of prayer.
Okay.
Will you pray for us? Opening prayer for us, Mr. Mike Avidensi. Sorry
Yeah,
about
it's Mark and Arvidsson.
Avidensi, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It seems like on my end, your names seem to be difficult to pronounce. It's funny that you have trouble with mine. So it goes both ways. Let's pray. Lord God, we thank you so much for a chance to get together. We thank you just for the global aspect of your salvation, that the ground is level before the cross for all of us. And what's represented here, Lord, is just a small sampling of your kingdom. And we just ask for your discernment. We ask for your wisdom. We ask for your direction, Lord, as we plan to reach others with the gospel. And I just pray that you would just anoint this time, Lord, that we would be diligent in the task you've given to us. And most of all, Lord, that your name would be high and lifted up. We know we live in a hurting world. There's a lot of stuff going on, but where there is much sin, we know that the Bible says much more grace abounds. And I pray that we would be bearers of light, that we'd be bearers of this grace and this mercy, that you would seek none should perish. So again, we just ask you just anoint this time. Thank you so much for each one here. And I just pray that you continue to just fan that flame of fire of love for you in our hearts. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dave, for that wonderful time of prayer. I want some of us that are here today, so we already have Minister Madam Jofako with us already. So she the head of all the GNO, how do they call it, in those states. So she's welcome. Thank you. Yes, welcome, Madam. It's our joy to have your presence. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right, so we are here, and some of us may be wondering in details if I haven't discussed with you why we are gathered here this evening. And some of us also have spoken about David, and maybe you have not known him, and this will be an opportunity for you to know him and what we have in store. First of all, I want to begin by introducing this program and what we intend to do. I met David a couple of years ago, and we just had a short time together, and we've been planning towards a program like this, I think maybe about 2 months ago now. I gave my life to Jesus when I was 13, and I know the power of someone connected with Christ at a tender age. And since then, I've had this passion for young people. So when I look through David's program and what he has for youth and for children and for teenagers, I felt this is something that should be embraced, and something that the church in Africa, in other parts of the world, should also embrace. David has had a remarkable success in most of the things he has been doing, which of course is going to introduce some of them to us today. What we are looking at is not just an event. We are looking at something that will be continuous, something that will last, something that will continue to make impact. And this has the potential for that. And so we are looking at having August 22, 23, having our online program. First of all, it's an intro program. It's just the beginning of the package that is installed. And so what I'm looking at here, in this online program, we are expecting to be able to, at the same time, connect with many of our friends in ministries and our community. We are connecting from Ghana, from Spain, Italy, and Nigeria, and as the Lord continue to open the door. while we are looking towards next year for in-person camping or seminar or workshop that will be taking place. So this is a very great journey, and I have not spoken with Mr. Dave because I have a film that I'm going to produce in Africa, and that I know with Mr. Dave, that is a dream come true. And that will be the first powerful live cartoon movie. So now there's a lot to talk about Mr. Dave, but we're going to see, he will introduce himself more. But if you have ever watched The Lion King, the animator is Dave. And he has been involved with Disney movie, and he has helped to produce most of the popular cartoon movies that we are watching, or we have seen, or our children have seen. And I want you to also understand also the faith and the spirit and the grace of God operating the life of Dave is something I feel will be a blessing to our children. And to bring this kind of creative program to Africa will be good. Not only Africa, here also in Toronto, in Canada, is something we want to also embrace through our ministry. So now I want to make the door open for Dave to personally talk about himself. And if you have any question, you may ask. And before we leave, we will all discuss a few things together, know you better, and what we are going to do. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to use a little PPT here. My name is Davey Liu, and I'm going to share the screen here. There it is. Can everybody see okay? Okay. All right, so
yes.
Kendu kids.
Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
So Kendu kids, I'll record this thing so you guys can, I'll send you the link. I'll have Pastor Manuel send you the link so you guys can all review this later if there's some absence or whoever your staff needs to see. So Kendu kids kind of begin with when I was a child, and so this creativity workshop kind of came from all my experience I did in Disney. In the Disney time, we had to do this PR, and I had to teach Michael Jackson how to draw Simba. I had to teach Princess Diana how to draw, Beauty and the Beast, and President Carter's grandkids how to do Aladdin. So those creativity workshop all sprung from that in early 1990s. I'm the founder of Kendu Films. So Kendu come from you can do all things through Christ. I was born in Taiwan. In Taiwan, in Taiwan, we're all Chinese. We don't have different multicultural. I mean, it's just all Chinese. Every Chinese kid strive to make straight A's, but I struggle with studying as a kid. And so I was the youngest of 7, and my mom always thought I was 10 days dead in my mother's womb. So the doctor already warned my parents that I'm going to be like Forrest Gump, kind of stupid, not very smart. So long story short, I struggle with school in Taiwan. So my parents are Christians, but my mom is a little bit more worldly, and my dad's more, hey, you can do all things through Christ. So, but I didn't understand what I can do. So I only could draw in my dad's journal books when I was in Taiwan. So with all successful Chinese family, they want to, immigrant to America. So I came to America when I was 13. When I came to America, I went to a school that I thought I was in Africa. I mean, I'd never seen a black kid ever. And these black kids had never seen a Chinese guy. They think all Chinese guys are related to Bruce Lee. I mean, every black kid was just following me, want my autograph. They think I'm related to Bruce Lee. So they asked me, do I know Kung Fu? And again, my English was F in Taiwan. So I don't understand a word they say. My mom says, say yes to everything. So they asked me, do I know Kung Fu? I say, yes. Do you know Bruce Lee? I say, yes. And what color is your belt? I look down. Every Taiwanese kid only wear black belt. So I say, I have black belt. So then they asked me how many degrees my black belt. I think they're asking me how many holes punch on my belt. So I counted, 8 holes. I say, I have 8-degree black belt. So ever since then, my name is not Davey Liu in the school here. It's Bruce Lee. So they just start calling me Bruce Lee. So I couldn't understand English, but I had this art class. In Taiwan, we don't have art class. I mean, in Taiwan, it's all about strive to be academic, lawyer, doctor, engineer. I mean, for me, I just loved to draw as a kid. So this art teacher, 13 years old, came to America. She told me, you can do it. She gave me a big piece of white paper. I didn't think much of it. I didn't want to let her down. So I drew a Chinese dragon. And few months later, this drawing won top 20 in the whole United States in 1982. So then my mom's like, hey, maybe this kid is not as, not a Forrest Gump. Maybe he can't make straight A, but he can draw straight lines, right? So I pursued art, and eventually I was the first Chinese kid that everybody told me I can't make it. I can't make it. Disney was only looking for 8 kids out of the whole America, and I got in 1990, and in 1990, I went in there and worked on 4 major films that most of you, I always say most of you guys grew up with, because you guys look so young. So during that time, working in this productions, I won the Academy Awards for some of the animated films. I realized the power of story of what Disney does. In 1995, I realized, even though I work at Disney, the kingdom, the Magic Kingdom, I realized this kingdom, it's the greatest children's ministry in the world. And then that I see what the church is influenced and what church doing with creativity, it's still very behind. And when I worked on The Lion King, I realized the Lion King, we stole it from this whole story of the Moses. So the power of God is really, really powerful. It didn't matter what format you put in. So then I realized, wow, if the world is doing what they're doing, why aren't us as a believer, why aren't we telling stories, right? So I realized the power of story only reside in Hollywood. It's very sad. It's very, very sad. So, I just started dreaming about potentially in this story kingdom, how we come together. I mean, Lion King, it took 4 years to make. It took 4 years to make. I mean, how in the world? 4 years to make an animated film? I mean, why? That's because they know the story, it's important. And this is what we do every day in Disney. It will be about 10 of us, we will brainstorm for 3 years and talk about Lion King, originally the story of the Lion King, right? And then, just these collaboration of a group all reside in this place in Hollywood, in Burbank, Disney Studio. This is where the power of creativity is. So the secret of this power of creativity, of how Disney really really perfected of how they really tell stories, and so this was our first, attempt, so this is what the creativity workshop reside, really just share with kids about, when we 15 people travel to Africa, we didn't see anything visual. Like in Mulan, we saw like, amazing Great Walls, and in Africa, we saw so many stories, and we brought some of these story back to the studio, and then beginning to turn the story of the story of the Lion King into a lion form instead of more of a traditional form. So of course, the CEO of Disney saw potential, and that's where we come back, start developing these characters. This is the first character of Simba. So the creativity workshop, kids really get to see a lot of these behind stage, how things are created. And then kids get to also do the same thing. They get to create their own character. They get to, take something that is real life. It could be their friend, could be something their pets, and then they can turn this into a real characters. So that's really what creativity workshop is on the, on these first and second day, and they really get to have this kind of walkthrough of how story is begin. And obviously team spirit is extremely crucial. So how everything are created, they see the drawings wasn't perfect in the first year, and it took 3 years. Of course, the creativity workshop we're going to do next year in Africa, it's 1 week, but this summer we're going to be doing 2 days. And this workshop of 2 days, pretty much, it's going to be doing about, talk about how to turn their kids into animal characters, how all of us does, we just don't say it. Like I look at so-and-so, right? He looks like an animal character. So an animated film in Lion King, it's about 2,000 people. So just allow children to see that, you know, this epic stuff that is this epic, it took 4 years and then it's 2,000 people, right? What an amazing investment that they made to create such an epic stories, right? And then this epic story had created so much revenue. And that's why I talked about Pastor Manuel. Can we create that kind of synergy for the children in Africa or kids all over the world, to have them create characters and they have professional come and using professional funding to create something that children has started. You know, what if we do a workshop and then through these workshops next year, some kids create this really raw stories in 1 week, but potentially we can turn it into, you know, a phenomenon for these kids. And this story will be a kid story, right? Where they think about, you can do it, right? So this is how Disney makes money. They make money by licensing, right? And by selling a lot of these toys, merchandise that you and I, our kids, you know, buys. And this is a huge endeavor on Disney's. Disney last year spent $28 billion in creating children's content. As you guys know, like Disney now is, you know, creating a lot of LGBTQ stuff that is, you know, that's really impactful and it's very damaging to children. So pretty much this is what creativity is. I've been traveling around the world, talk about creativity, especially in Asia. We don't have creativity, you know, everything gets duplicated. You know, Asia's education is always taught about doing something else, what everybody else is doing. So since the last 2 decades, Kendu has created, you know, a whole series of beautiful Bible animated storybooks that is based on story of the Bible. And these books intentionally so that we can engage to the unchurched children, just like the Lion King. If you look at the story of the Lion King, you can see the metaphor of a biblical gospel. So all this story of the Bible stories, as you can see, they don't look anywhere religious. They don't look like the traditional Bible stories. And that's because we want the visual and the allegory, just like Jesus preached in allegory in New Testaments. None of his allegories and parable that Jesus preached has any religious experience. So these books are a big hit in China, and by the education in China, they were endorsed as the best children's moral wholesome books in China. So every year I go to Animation Expo, you know, in 1 weekend, we have 3 million people visit Kendu's animation booth. And then we even have land in China to build the giant leaf, the Noah's Ark story. So we don't have time to get in depth in some of these books, the story of the animated Bible stories. Some of these stories that we have, like this, all these are animal point of view, and you can look at our book, and they would not have any Bible inclination until the very last of it, and you realize that you're reading a story of Noah's Ark. You're reading of Jesus, story of Jesus. You're reading story of Moses from fish perspective. You're reading a story of Jonah from whale and the mermaid perspective. So really taking these children by surprise, so they don't first page, they're like, okay, you know, it's a Bible story. So what we're doing in this August here is really taking character and just real simple, because time is short. What we're really going to be doing in this 2 hours is pretty much, you know, teaching kids how to observations, because observation is extremely important. I talk about, you know, the creativity, where does that creativity of, you know, the attribute come from? God, the Almighty God. We all have it. We're created in the image of God. We all have significant creativity in all of us. We just don't realize it. Like in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth, right? And then what requires creativity hands in hands? It's imaginations. Kids has it. Kids naturally has imagination.
Hello, Mr. Dave. Just before you continue, I just want to upgrade us, and for those of us that are coming in, to make sure that you are following. Mr. Dave Liu is the founder of Kendu Film Movie. He's the founder, and he worked with Disney for many years, and he helped to animate most of Disney movies like The Lion King and so many other movies we have seen. And so he's a celebrity. He has received a lot of awards, a lot of awards in virtual in many areas. And also you can check his website and you get more information and TD, all of TED speaking and all. So you are with a grounded man who is well influential in China. He has written books that are storybooks, but these storybooks are not just carry religious and mask. I mean, what would I put it? But they are very well speaking about the life of Christ, the message of God, but in a way that even the general community can embrace them. Like in China, the book has been awarded the best children book of the year. And so most of these materials will be sent to some of us so that you can see some of them as we prepare. So now what David is doing is that this creativity workshop and so also the evening programs we're going to be doing both online or in person next year is share with us the key values that children will learn. Not just children, youth. We're looking at from age 8 to 19 or even more, what they will learn. There are key values that they will learn, which is talking about creativity. When you talk about creativity, observation, and also imaginations. So these are the things we want to stir up in the life of our children so they can live up to God's expectation. So I want you to continue, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so these are the pretty much the full 1 week workshop. We really want to teach children about leadership, imagination, team spirit, character building, observation skills, confidence, and communication skills. And all this does come from a whole spectrum of 5 days of workshop that we're going to be implementing next year. Now, this year, we're all pretty much just going to be doing character observations and how to turn your friends into animated characters. Now, I've done some of the successful one that we did in Philippines and some of these other countries that we have. So I talk to kids about, how to observe, right? I mean, when Aladdin, we had to find inspiration from a movie star's face, right? I mean, you don't see the resembling. So kids are started engaging like, oh, wow, this animated character, and they get to guess, which character was influenced of this, the Lion King Zazu characters, so every kid smile, laugh, okay, they see the resemblings. So I talk about observations when they look at their friends, right? Do they see an animal attribute, right? So, they laugh, like, yeah, haha, we see, so they partner up. So what we did in some of the country we did, it's all in public settings. We pair them up, or we do parents and children's, like maybe, parents, what do you see your kids? And the parents will draw, and then the kids will draw the parents as well. So it's talking about just observations, in the, some doesn't need explanations. They just look similar, and the kids will smile and laugh. So, and I talk about, I drew myself, in Disney, and the kids, some kids might went online, they saw all this already. So I kind of drew myself into one of the Mulan character, in Disney. So I talk about think like a cowboy, don't copy, just really become a cowboy. Don't be a cow, like just follow someone else. So I just teach them real simple shapes where they can start drawing. In the 2 hours that we're going to be doing in August, we're going to pretty much did like what I did here. I'll go to extensive about next year's workshop, but before that, let's talk about just this August that we're going to be doing. What I did is, this is a scenario that we're going to be doing this online. What I did is I select 30 kids and also 30 parents. These 30 kids, they would draw their parents, okay? And then what they do, they draw on a piece of paper, and then they only put a number on it. So for example, this kid maybe put his number is maybe 1001, and then this kid maybe 003. So the parents doesn't know their kid's number. Parents will do the same thing, and then they'll draw their kids. And after, when they finish drawing it, they lay out on one table. So the parents doesn't know what their sons or daughter have drawn them. So they have to go look at them and then find which one is the kids' drawings of them, right? So they're over there looking. Most of the time that we've done this many times in China, in other countries, it's about 30%. So of course, you know, we have awards, you know, yeah, the parents, you know, they got it right. As you can see, there's a similar resemblance on this scenarios where the father recognized the daughter's drawing, because he says, you know, my dad looks like Panda with the glasses. This is a very powerful moment changing where this in Philippines, where this father, he works 5 jobs. He works 5 jobs. He's hardly at home, and he has 1 daughter. And then this daughter drew him as a bat. As you can see, the top left, number 15. The father got it right. It's very impressive. As you can see, she says, I drew my father as a bat because my father never sleeps. He's always working. And as you can see there's no resemblance. I asked the father, how did you know this is your daughter's drawing? Powerful. The father says, obviously it didn't look like him. How does he know? He says, I recognize the color. My daughter's favorite color, it's pink and green. So that's really, as you can see, how intimate. The father worked 5 jobs, but he says when he comes home, he sees his daughter, he pay attention to her drawings, you know, the drawings of pink and green. They recognize the color. So in this scenarios, what I did is I connect this of how God sees us. God knows our color. I mean, it's not how amazing our drawing is. It's not how amazing we do with our grades in school, but it's really about how God sees us, and he knows our intimate color and our own signatures. You don't need to sign it. God knew you, you know, before he created you. So in this 2 hours of creativity workshop online, I kind of go through my personal journey of how God took me from Taiwan, and then from straight F into drawing straight lines. I have a very inspirational anime stories about not a marble, but a diamond. So it's about how God sees me, because, you know, I grew up, even though I worked at Disney, I mean, it's working out all these animated films, right? In a Chinese society, to work on an animated film, at least I was the first one, right? Whenever my film comes out and my mom will be in Taiwan, I say, Mom, have you seen Beauty and the Beast? No. Have you seen Aladdin? No. Have you seen The Lion King? No. She never go to theater to see any of my films because she thinks that being a doctor and engineer is more important. So when I was in my 30s, I feel this nudge where I want to leave Disney and I want to serve God with my life. But I couldn't do it because I want to win an Oscar, right? I want to win an Oscar with Davey Lou's name on it. But God says, you know, you can spend all your life winning millions of Oscars. God says, I'd rather you win one child. So in 30s, when I was in 30, you know, I even my mom sees me as marble. God says, I see you as diamonds. So that's where my biography became kind of very inspirational, that God sees every children as his diamond, that we do not, you know, even this child may be odd. He doesn't make straight A. He doesn't strive well in a normal society. But how can we celebrate this child as one of a kind? That this child would be in God's eyes a diamond. So that's pretty much what a creativity workshop. What I do is I implement my inspiration, my testimony, doing with the creativity workshops, that they get to experience the whole spectrums of creativity. This workshop, it's just a platform where I can just really embrace God's message of how these children or parents, when they create something, well, God did the same thing to you. God, you were created. God created you to be beautiful, majestic, to glorify him. So at the end of the day, these kids will create this amazing animated films, and then they'll walk home, right, with a team. And every kid get to contribute into this big short little animated film that they create, and the credit and the film credit that they'll see that they got to celebrate and doing this as a team together. So that's it. That's pretty much it. In summary, anybody have happy to take some Q&A if anybody have any questions regarding some of the things I've shared.
All right, Mr. Dave, first of all, I'm looking at the program we have in in August 22 and 23. I want to ask, we have here now with us Pastor Grace from Spain. You're welcome. We have Nazina Danning. She's from here with us in Toronto. God bless you. I want to ask, Pastor Ephraim, you will notice that David Liu was talking about this great moment with parents and children. Like the program we're going to have, the online program, are we expecting parents to be part of the program, or you just want to focus mainly on children and we look for facilitators? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the program we are hosting, but you are really the one bringing the message. So you tell us what you want, and then we plan with what you want to do. So
Okay.
if what you want is we bring parents into the program, we can do that.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but Mr. Dave, so what do you think?
You're talking about the August one, right?
Yeah, I talked about the August.
Yeah.
I would say do the parents and child. I think it's very significant.
Okay.
Okay.
Pastor Grace, will that be something feasible in Spain to have a moment, 2 hours, where parents and children can come together?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Well, yes, I think it's going to be a good idea for parents to come together with their children, because just listening to Dave speaking, I saw that we can't actually leave the parents out of this, because the children need the push from their parents, and the parents need to understand what their children are going about, so they will know how to encourage them into this imaginary work that we are talking about here. I kind of like the idea. It's a very good one. And I think I'll see what I can do to talk to parents here and see how we can gather the kids together to hear this. To be a good one.
Okay. So I want to ask Minister Sam from Italy, Parman, if he's here. Do you think, let me see, Minister Sam, is he here? Okay, I've seen it before. Okay, maybe Sister Rita want to speak on his behalf. We want to have an online program. You may not have been ahead of that. Online program for youths and our teenagers and youth or children from the age of 9 especially. Do you think that the parents can join in the program just for 2 hours so that Dave can engage with all of them?
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
So I think the parents can really join so that they can understand more better and explain better to them. You know, the children here in Italy, they understand they understand Italian language more than the English language. So it will be better for the parents to be available.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So, all right, go ahead if you have any personal questions you want to ask.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Go ahead,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, for something like this, apart from watching the person, the facilitators on screen, it would be good if the children have some materials they can hold in their hands, things they can work with. Will that be provided for them?
I guess I could send basic drawings. So let me share this thing here. So this is what we have. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, this is just, you know, the kids, I just talk
Okay.
about shapes, right? These are just basic
Okay.
shapes and how
Yeah.
shapes can create
Okay.
image. Yeah. So, I mean,
Okay.
I'd happy to send, I mean, I don't know how many these things that you may need. I can send this as a PDF. You can print it out if you like. I mean, I don't know how many kids are you going to have on, on site, so as you can see on the left-hand side here, this is basically just talk about how basic a drawing, what different shapes can do. And obviously these are very sophisticated drawings, that we do here in the studio.
Yeah.
And then, for kids to go back real basics. So what I'm going to be doing on the 2 hours, I am actually going to have a kid take a picture of him. We're going to select one kid, and I'm going to select one parent, and I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to do a demo of a kid, and I'm going to literally draw him, literally turn him into animal characters online.
Okay, that's clear now.
Yeah. So it's up to you if you guys want to print it out. If you feel like you want to, because that's all I'm going to be doing, just showing them 3 shapes. That's all they're going to learn is how to use these 3 shapes and then turn it into their parents into animated animal characters. Same thing with parents.
Okay. Oisa, you have a question?
Yeah, I would like to know what age group are we catering this project towards?
Yeah, so I would say ideally it's age 8 to maybe 11. Those are the ideal, 3rd grade to 6th grade. Ideally.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and what we are preparing for now for this August, we're actually looking at the teenagers from the high school, but actually we wanted to include some of the elementary school, which is from 9 years or 8 years. So will this also be applicable to those who are already 15, 20, 19?
Yeah, I mean, I done this exercise of turning your co-workers into animal characters. I did this in Procter & Gamble in Singapore. So it's basically talk about observations, because we don't do that kind of stuff at work, right? We don't do creativity, talk about creativity. So I did all that also. So there was a race. They made it into a big race. And there's a 500 staff in Singapore, and they did this creativity. And it's just a wonderful, refreshing way of, I never seen my boss see me as that, because my boss see me as a gorilla, because I work hard, and it's really encouraging from the boss and also to the staff. So those are another perspective. But just because we're doing this the first time, I'm trying to maybe keep it more family. So if you want to put children in the quadrant of maybe no younger than 8, if they have kids 15, 16, high school, it's no big deal. They can also participate. Absolutely.
Do anybody have any other question? Go ahead.
Yeah. God bless you all again. I want to say
you are mute. Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay, I think I'm back now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm excited about the materials because I know it's going to be very helpful. But the age range is what I'm a little skeptical about, because I see that this work, this artwork or creative work, is even very common among younger children here. Younger children, I think we should allow the younger children come in also, because like the little children in infant school, yeah, they do a lot of this artistic work. I see my daughter doing a lot of that from school. And I think she's going to benefit from it, even if she's just 5. So if we can bring them in, I think that would be fine. That would be fine. And then if we can get the soft copy of these materials ahead of time, and let's see how the children can have it in their system for those that have system, or print it out for those that can print it, so that they can have the practical aspect of it, like Pastor Ephraim said. I think that would be good also. So let's make the age range wider. I see younger children here that will do better with this that we're talking about.
You can do it as long as you are able to manage. I think it's whatever you guys are comfortable, because I have to rely on your leadership there, so that you can make sure they're younger kids. I mean, I don't know how patients in America, some of these 6 years old, they all couldn't sit still, so as long as you feel confident that the kids can do it, keep up with a 10-year-old, 11-year-old.
All right, thank you, sir.
Sure.
So long as they have their parents around to guide them, they will do well in meeting.
Yeah, that'll be
God
fun.
bless you, sir.
Yes.
Now let's talk about how.
Oh,
Go ahead, Mr. Ifrey.
okay. It means we will have to have something like a classroom setting where you have table and chairs so they can do practical work. Because if we want to do normal church seating arrangement, they may not be able to do practical work. So that will also mean we'll have to have a maximum number of people we can have in the program.
Yeah.
Since it's going to be something like a practical class.
Yep, exactly. You brought up a real good point, Pastor Efren. So what we did, this is the biggest one we ever done in an event. Now I was there on live. So yes, it has to be selective. If you have let's say if you have 1,000 kids, you can't have 1,000 kids plus 1,000 parents.
Yeah.
That would be too much.
Yeah.
I would say maximum to keep a good quality, because you need to look at the drawings and you gotta have teams. So maximum that you wanted to do is maybe 60, 30 kids, 30 parents. That's maximum. More than that, it's just too much, too hard to do crowd control.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying here too.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm looking at, what he's saying is that if I want to add to that, like that of like in Nigeria, for instance, when you have a lot of people interested in this program, so the tables might not be enough for everybody, but there are maybe up to 100 people that can be with a table in the main front. Then I think David has a picture of that. Then there are others sitting who are participating in the main program. There is the workshop aspect of it. There's also the talk aspect of it, whereby they see what is happening and they are being taught these principles for success. I don't know if I'm clear. Yeah. So what we are saying is that we are not just, okay, only 60 people out of, you have 1,000 people in the church, only 60 people should participate. No, it means that for the actual practical aspect of it, if I understand very well what Mr. David is saying, you might have representatives to work with if all is not able to participate, sitting at the front with tables and chairs, and the others. Dave, I don't know if you could show that picture of what you did in, I don't know, was it in China or so? Okay, yeah, this is the picture already. So you see many others are part of it, joining in, but you have this group of people sitting at the front to, to follow up very well. So in case you are not able to get all the tables and get all the parents, but those who are representative, as they register for the program, you can have them sit with the chairs and others can still follow.
Yeah, and then what we did is we put kids in the front and we put separately in the back. You notice in the back, parents are all in the back.
Yeah.
So they're separate. So their parents don't see what their kids is drawing, the parents don't, and kids don't see what their parents is drawing.
Okay.
Okay, it's clear, sir.
Yeah.
So, any other question, please? If there are things that are not clear to you, we would like you to ask.
Ooh, Pastor Grace's hand is up. Is it still up?
No, that was before I asked the question on the age range.
All right, she's just saying
It's
hello.
just been there
Rita,
since-
Rita.
Good evening, everyone again. Please, sir, I wanted to know if other children from other churches can take part.
Yes, I think you look at your space in church. Other children from other churches can take part, not only from churches, also in the community. At least it's an outreach for the community because of the lessons that are being taught. We talk about creativity, we talk about self-confidence, we talk about observations, we talk about a lot of stuff, affirmations, and the kind of relationship with Christ. So all of these are all in teamwork. They're all included in this program. So for me, I would really encourage you are able to pull other parents to be a part of this program. Yeah.
So gave you guys a testimony, parent, this, as I don't know how tough Africa parents is, but in Hong Kong, in China, parents are pretty tough to kids. They really raise the bar pretty high. So I've done a workshop with this private international, this is like the top private school in Hong Kong. And then there's 50 of them flew to Los Angeles and they did this workshop for 10 days. And as you can see, for Asian parents to spend 10 days with their kids, it's nearly impossible. You're talking about some of these parents are like very busy bankers, they're lawyers, they're doctors. They spend 10 days, they come over here, and there's one scenario where is one mother and then one daughter, because her mother is so busy working, making millions of dollars in China, but she would have a maid in Hong Kong. So doing this workshop, the daughter and mother the daughter was literally a stranger to the mother. And then on the workshop, on the third day, they're on the same team, they have to create a character, they have to do is there. On the third to fourth day, the mother interviewed. The mother said, the thing that transformed was on the third to fourth day, my daughter, she asked, they had a separate bed in the hotel. So she says, Mom, can I sleep with you? She said that was worth it because, she asked her daughter, why do you want to sleep with your mommy? Because the whole time she's very independent. She thinks her mom's almost like a stranger, but her mom says that her daughter said to her, says, Mom, I did not know that you're just like me. You wanted to also be a princess. Wow. Just this process that the daughter saw the mother's tenderness, not just her money that comes to her, but just her time, just her embracing the two mother and daughter, embracing something and going on this journey of creativity, right? It's not about drawings. It's not about making this film. It's not about just drawing the animal, but it's really about when parents and child, they come into a platform on Kendu Kids, none of them know what to do. They are under the mercy of Davy Luke, but when on this journey, this 2 hours, they get to align and doing something, collaborating, right? The child has to be an 8-year-old. The mother has to be, or the father has also had to be an 8-year-old when it comes to my creativity workshop, right? There's no superior, like I'm your mother, I can draw better than you, or I'm your child, now I get to, no, it's everybody on the same platform. And then now they get to do is they get to create together. They get to do something that they've never done this. They wouldn't have never ever done this in Hong Kong in an amazing private school. This school would never given this opportunity where they can get to create together as a family, and then it's just a real simple outcome where the children will actually get to see their mom draw them as an animal character. How special, how rare is that my dad actually draw me? Wow, I'm curious to know what that is, right? But the outcome is the fact that the testimony I was just sharing with you, the outcome is this, is the story that this father's story has inspired in the mall in Philippines. In this is an international mall. In here, there's 4 or 5 decks. There's hundreds of parents are sitting there watching this thing live. And they're asking themselves, do I know my daughter's color? Do I know what's my favorite daughter's color? Is it green or pink? How amazing it is for this father. He works 5 jobs, but yet he knows his daughter's voice. And how can we take this message to reflect it back that, God is never too busy for us. He is never busy for us. He knows our color, right? He created us. He doesn't see us as animals, but he sees us as the children of God. So we really, really create this thing, bring this back as a platform and really just empower our community, our families, to let parents know that how important your child is. It's not about making straight A's. or drawing straight lines. You know, it's really about celebrating this children's individuality. Yeah, that they are one of a kind. They don't have to be number one, but they only have to be only one in God's eyes.
Thank you, sir. So, in terms of practicality, in terms of working out some of this program and how we're defining it, we've chosen August 21, 22 to 23, and this is just the first step or a first step into this program, and we're looking for next year to come in person. But now, with what we have received so far, what do you think are the other things you will need to understand this better, and how you can implement it and follow up when we begin? Are there things you think you will need, informations you need more?
Okay, I think for some of us, this is all very new to us. So we may need to brood on this, check out the website, check materials, and then maybe while we're doing that, we'll get some questions. There may be areas we'll not be clear about. So I think we may need to reschedule. Let's have another meeting sometime not too far from now, so that between now and that time, we'll check the website, we'll check materials, we'll brood on these, and then we'll also see how we can start planning and see the challenges that may come up. So by that next meeting, we will be able to really ask questions or get clarifications on some things.
Yeah, how about this, Pastor Everett? Let's do a smaller, let's do an internship, a test, so that there would be no surprises. Well, what I would suggest is, Pastor Manuel, is maybe with you guys right here.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are all online. What we can do is next time we do this again, let's do a practice, maybe 1 hour, and let's do it what this would look like. So for example, next time we have meetings, get your co-staff, maybe get, let's just say each one of you just get maybe 6. So you have 6, so you have 3 at 3, right? So you can get kids if you want. Let's just do 6, okay? So let's just practice for once, see how this would feel like, the tempo of it, right? And then while you're doing that, you can have questions. The question will rise up, because we never done this. We cannot, in August 21st, 22nd, I need to make sure that you guys are on it. You know, there is no hidden surprises.
Yeah, that's wise. Yes.
Yeah. So
that's
let's do a 1 hour of pre-run and see and test. And you'll take my drawing class just like you would normally we would do in August. You would follow me and do everything, and then we'll do the test. Okay, all right, I'm gonna have now draw this so and so, right? And this is obviously, I think Pastor Manuel is going to be putting a big broadcast. You guys want to have a big screen over there, but I also need to know how well, you know, any hiccups. I need to know if there's any hiccup from your end.
Okay, I think that's wise. It's good to practicalize this before.
Yeah, let's practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So what we're going to do now, we're going to set a time for the practice time, and what I'm doing now, I think I will just ask. You can just take maybe children or maybe a younger person to join you, and for that practice, and we work it together. Or we can fix a time so that we can get some of our youth, some of our younger youths to join in, and then we can all do the practice together. With David Luke, we are coming for the class, so let me be parent, maybe my kid follow me, maybe the other people, so we work it together and follow you and see how the whole thing goes, and see what lessons we learn and how it is affecting us and how it's changing us. I think we can do that. Somebody is raising a Abiola Daisy, raise hand. Please, could you please speak?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Abiola Daisy Gaga is my name, the president of the Conference of Non-Governmental Organization. I have listened to all that has been said, and I really want to say thank you to David and to Pastor who has brought this in. It's very laudable. But as I listen and I ask myself, how can it be brought in to the children in the schools? Because what I hear you say seems is a church setting. Can't we go beyond the church to the children in the schools, partnering with the Ministry of Education to see how this can be brought into the curriculum in a way? I don't just know, I'm just thinking outside the box. Once again, it's laudable. Let's see how we can bring in, partner with the government, ready to partner with such things that will help the kids because of the terrible.
Okay, I know that.
And having the parents.
Go ahead.
Okay, having the parents during their PTAs, this can be brought up through the commissioner. She's open for such things. She's exposed and will be happy to partner with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Biola. That's one of the reasons I have you here. Actually, I have discussed with someone else, a friend of mine too. We've related some issues in respect to schools. Like I did say, you know, I did run a para-church ministry before coming over to Europe, and I was reaching out to schools. I wasn't just going to the churches, if I was targeting the schools. Yes, we want, that's why I said this is an ongoing progress. It's not just this event. Because of this short-term plan, so that is why we're just working within the church just to see what it is. But we're actually coming into the city to reach out to schools. That is, so what you are saying is what our dream is. And not just in the churches, but also involve the school. That's why I spoke with you and I needed you to be here. And you, now that you see what it is, so we will want to pursue that so that by next year, this is not just only with churches, but also with the government and with the schools involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Lisa,
too.
I would like to understand the materials we need for these practical aspects. First of all, we're going to need a big screen, right? For everybody to be able to see what Dave will be talking about.
Exactly.
Then, are we going to need like some materials? Is it going to be some ads, copy material, or like laptops or something for the children? I don't know. Do we have to provide papers, pens, and crayons and the others for the children?
So all you need with this thing, if you want to print out those circle and try, you really don't need to. I've done this in the past. All they need is pencil and paper. That's it. Just a sheet of paper and a pencil. That's all they need with my workshop. They don't need, like, I know you guys are used to like material, make sure the kids all make sure they all study up. No. All my workshop, we've done this online during COVID. I mean, we even produce films. All kids did is bring a drawing pad and a paper. And of course, when they finish the thing, they actually, it's amazing. Well, I'm going to show you something. We did this online. This is all done online with the private school here in California, because it's COVID time and they have to do everything in Zoom. Kids actually create their own film. And this is a 1 week workshop that we're going to be doing next year. Right, I'm going to have professional editing team. These are all done by professional editing, but the drawings and stories and directing, production design, producers, all this came from kids. So I'm going to show you this thing. It's pretty powerful. These are done by kids from 7-year-old to 10-year-old. Okay, I'm just going to watch it. We're just going to watch it real fast. So everything you see here, drawings wise, all done by kids. They do their voices.
Walking home from school, what do? Aliens pulled out of the UFO and tried to overrun Earth.
What are we gonna do with this big mess? Let's go check it out.
So they create their own backgrounds.
Okay. Look who's here, Bella and Charlie. Looks like they still want to play. Haha. Bella's Pusheen poster started to act a little weird and shrink out of keys. It got into the crash CFO and made it into a rocket ship. Then they blasted off to Mars. I have never been out of space. Thinking something, my friend. Should really make a book about this someday.
So this is the best part. When the film is done, the kids got to see the 5 day that they do together as a team spirit, how everybody played different roles, right? And then we, at the Friday, we give them an Oscar night where we honor the kids, their creativity, their team spirit, where they come together, they're willing to accept others' idea better than theirs, right? I mean, these are all big, it's all learning about just humility, how to serve as a team, how to serve others, how you can embrace someone else's idea better than your ideas. Because I'll tell you, it's hard in Disney. Sometimes your idea gets neglected. What do you do, right? And so some of these kids will take different roles, you know, in this wonderful journey of creativity with Kendu. So with the parents and child workshop, you'll see parents' name here. This one's only for children. For these school, this is what their summer program with Kendu kids. So that was done everything online. So I know this is all real new for you. All you need is paper and pencil and someone able to take a picture and then send those things, you know, upload it here, and then we can turn everything into what you just saw, a film.
Okay, someone take a camera for picture.
Yeah.
The regular
Kids
camera
drawing, yeah.
or phone cameras or something.
Yep. All you do is whatever the phone that you guys have, take a picture, send the artwork, we'll cut it up, and we'll do all the animation here in our studio. But the kids will actually do the storyboard. Like kids will actually board the story. Like scene 1, what is that? You know, and they'll draw it really rough. I mean, it could be really, really rough. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. So these kids actually get to do all this stuff. And then our team here in Los Angeles, we take all the material artwork that kids create, and we actually, you know, turn them into what you just saw, a really beautiful final product. Did you think it's pretty impressive? Very impressive, right? From 7 to 11-year-old, that is impressive.
Very cool.
It's very impressive. I'm still wondering how the colors came in, if it's just pencil they're gonna need. I guess that's the own part.
Yeah. It's amazing
Right.
what technology can do. You know, there's so many things you can do these days.
All right, so just the regular pencil and paper, a camera
Yeah.
to send it. And
That's it.
All right, sir.
So, but if they have color pens, maybe, I don't know, they could use, I don't know, I'm just saying. But the reason why I love this is because my son, my little boy, when he was about 6 years or 5, because he wrote a story. And then we were in the States, so he wrote a story and with a drawing.
Uh-huh.
And so he told me what the story is, because during the holiday, I was said they should do something. He said he was going to write a story. So he wrote a story, he wrote a drawing. So there was this shipwreck, I don't know what they call it, flew from the sky, and everybody ran away. He was the only one standing, and then he released his bomb, and then that case, and the whole story was there. So some time ago, I was asking, where is that story? We need to write it out. We need to read it. With writing, with step by step, you know. You see, but when gifts like this are not encouraging children, I remember when I was young in Nigeria, for instance, there were so many guys with high creativity. They could do a lot of stuff, but they are not encouraged. They are not being told to have faith in what they have. So they grow up letting go of those abilities in them and not really measuring up. But with this kind of program, when people can see their little effort coming into reality, it is going to spark some imagination in there. And you know, we live in a world of computer nowadays, and we want to see our children believe that this is possible. They can create their own animation. So with all of David Film is not just going to do one-time event. I'm just really going to be working with him. We also have other things we're putting together with the lead way. And so my idea is that we can serve this into our children to have this confidence that they can actually do it. That is the name. You can do it. Can do movie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we want to now settle for the meetings that we're going to have for the next meeting, which is going to be a practical meeting, which is 1 hour. It's going to be a test. And we want to come in with our families, or members or other people, and let us just practice this out. Sister Pastor Faith, you can also try with your 5 years old girl, and let's see how this is going to really work out for us. So we want to look at a date that we will do this. I don't know what next week. It should be next week now. I think so. August is far close, but if we can make something happen next week, if that is okay for us, somewhere around, I don't want to suggest for everybody, but if we want to keep this same Tuesday, it's okay. If we want to keep Thursday, it's okay. Oh, today is Wednesday, please. Okay.
I think next week Wednesday is good for me. If it's okay with others, that would be fine. At about the same time we started today. That's for me, speaking for myself.
Okay. Mr. Dave, will next week Wednesday be okay for you as our main facilitator? Hello? Okay. Mr. Dave, will next week Wednesday be okay?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Hey, I just sent in the chat, if you guys have time, the Vimeo, that's the documentary of the creativity workshop. They made a really beautiful documentary. So if you go to the chat and just kind of keep that link, you can watch it. It's 20 minutes. It's just talk about creativity workshop, how that had changed a family setting. That was the whole documentary of this family, 20 adult, 20 kids with their principal. They came to LA and that was their workshop. I'm gonna share this video, one more video here with you. This is the video of what we're doing here online. Also, Hong Kong, they still have kind of COVID restrictions. So I'm working with the local government with special needs. There's special needs in these kids in Hong Kong that they're poor and they don't. These kids are special needs. They're on wheelchairs, but they love to draw. Some of the kids maybe they have a little bit learning ability problems, but they want to use this creativity, talk about social inclusion, that these kids are, they're not, in Asia, these kids are, the most parents think these kids are, they're trash, they're like useless. But what government would want to do is embrace them, that these children, they're unique. They're like me. I wouldn't be trash in Taiwan, in Taiwan's education, I would be trash. So for someone that all they do is creativity, the right brain, they don't strive on academic, they are considered like rubbish in our culture in China, right? But in America, we celebrate multiple creativity, all sect, everybody are equal platform. And even if a kid is on wheelchair, you can do it. So this is the little promo that they have done that we're gonna be doing this year. So their work next year, the kids, these 500 special needs kids, their work will be seen in the Hong Kong Art Festival next year.
Wow, that's so lovely. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Oisa, you were raising your hand.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that that's very amazing and I love what you're doing. I also wanted to know if you do these types of online virtual programs in school as well.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh, you do? And have you ever done anything in like Toronto, Ontario before?
No, I never done Canada. Most place I've done it's in Asia, in California here, and then also in America. So.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right. I wanted to ask Dave, I know that, so many of our kids nowadays, they can do a lot with their laptop or their touch screen, and would that also be useful for kids?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. If people want to paint digitally, that's fine. Like for example, for this girl, all she does is paint with her hands. That's all she did is her hand. She put color and she create characters, right? She's Down syndrome and she create her hands and we make things come to life, right? Because that's how people think when they draw as paper, but no, not her, right? I mean, some people just have a different way of doing it and it's okay. We embrace their way of creating. They want to do digital, they want to put it on, but as whatever it is, they can capture it and send it to me in JPEG. We will make it come to life here in our studio.
Sir, that aspect of bringing it to life,
yes.
Is it possible to teach the children how to do that also? Apart from just drawing, can you teach them how to do animations to bring it alive?
Yeah, so that's something that's acting. So we have all that. We have all those things here. So obviously the 2 hours that we're doing, we're not going to have time. But when we do this on site, as you can see here, on the Wednesday, story character development, we're talking about acting, right? And then I will get up and I will talk about movement, and I talk about like when you see someone, we act it out. The kids will act out. What do you think an elephant would be? If elephant feels so sad and he's lost his mother, how would elephant act? So all the kids would take like elephant would be, elephant would maybe feel like every kid will do the acting of the elephant, like, so every kid has to be an elephant. Remember, elephant is trunked, so you gotta act. So I'm so sad. So he like with his trunk, I'm so sad. You see, so kids start become an elephant and they actually play the elephant. Oh, I'm so sad. So kids, it gets and parents when they do it, imagine how awkward parents is. Like now, the son's like, Dad, if you're my elephant and I'm the elephant baby, what if I get eaten by a crocodile? What would you do? And here's Dad has to be an elephant now. Oh shoot, let's see. If I was an elephant, I'm the dad. What do I do, right? So you put them in that scenario, and that's why on Wednesday we do that. We do the character acting, because they have a character about elephant, and they have to act this out. And then some kids are maybe not actors. They're great in organizing. They're like, oh, that's a great idea. They jog down notes, and that's what the producer does. And then there'll be another group. Not everybody draws. There'll be like some group of kids, maybe not kids, more adult, like high school kids. They do management. They're called production manager, right? And that's what it is in the whole spectrum of making an animated film. It's not everybody are artists. Some people are here to manage the timing, make sure things are done on time. It's a team collaborations. When they win an Oscar at the end of the day, when they win an Oscar, right? This is what it looks like. When the team is done, they got to do all this thing together as a team, brainstorming, storyboard. Some parents do video, there's be one guy, he doesn't even speak English. He doesn't know half things that I said, but he said, you know what? I came all the way from China. I don't understand English. I can operate an iPhone. What he did is he took over, he took charge. He says, I'm going to learn how to shoot my daughter and everybody's on my team because this is a team collaborations. you know? So what they did is they beginning to do this. And then on the last day, we had this Oscar party where team A and team B, they actually celebrate their creativity. This is a principal from the school, and she's the producer, and they won the best picture, you know? So it's a team effort. See how they made a t-shirt of the elephant? They do this together as a team. So this is the other team, they did penguins. So. And then on the fourth day, we celebrate, you know, where I kind of become like a Peter Pan, you know, maybe that in that month, some kid in that month, let's say we go with August, who's August baby? So we do a big celebration of their birthday, you know, with my Superman outfit. So.
Mr. Dave, let me just ask more as we start to conclude. I think we're looking towards in the future whereby like in your studio, you work on putting some of those materials together to see how our kids getting to know, at least firsthand, some of these resources that they can use, or this software or this program that they can start to see how they can put their program together.
Yeah. So what we need to do, we need to answer your question, Pastor. It's like maybe before the next summer, we can maybe do a 5 days online, see how it goes, maybe around Christmas or whatever you guys think the best date. We can do it online and do a test run also before we actually go on site. That way, people that gone through this program of 5 days, they realize that they could become a leader, right? When I go there, these guys have gone online. They already know exactly what it takes from Monday to Friday. What does that involve, right? And then it's kind of like a test that we're going to be doing next week, right? That once they've gone through the whole 5 days, like, wow, I see, like some of you guys already seen like, oh, this would be perfect for school. This would be perfect for some of the local community that would benefit from this. So unless you've gone through this, it's like, oh man, this is not about drawing or making an animated film. This is about really everybody come together and build one big dream.
Right. Thank you so much. So next week, Wednesday, about this same time, I hope it's good for everybody.
Please, can we make it 8, please? Europe time 8.
Okay.
If it's possible.
Okay, 8 p.m. Europe time, and that would be 7 p.m. Nigeria time. No, am I correct?
Yes, 7 p.m. Nigeria time.
7 p.m. Nigeria time, yes. So,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine with me.
okay, that's
Thank
fine.
you, Pastor Ephraim.
Yeah.
7 p.m.
Okay.
Nigeria time, 8
Secondly,
p.m.
sir, Pastor Emma, please. Is it possible to have a uniform flyer for this program for us
Yeah,
to
we could have
invite?
a uniform flyer. Yes, we could do so.
You could send us a soft copy and we'll print here and invite.
Okay, we will do so.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think I appreciate every one of you, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here. And I promise you next week, this was the first meeting. When we meet, we will stick with the hours of our meeting. And I really appreciate you. I don't know if Mr. Dave want to say something here to Mr.
No.
Mike. Mike, you want to say something?
No, I'm all good. Mark.
Okay. Mark, have you seen? You want to tell?
I'm all good. Yeah, it's been great being part of the discussion. I'm excited. Davey is a force to contend with. So if you can get him with your students, they will have an absolutely fabulous time. So.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone, and welcome, Pastor Ken, Pastor Grace from Spain, Ken from Italy, Mike from Aspasia, all of you, Rita, Blessed, Pastor Blessed, we all welcome you all in Jesus.